Should I look into that or not? It's the big lie. You know, it's the big lie. You say it often enough, people will believe it. I don't think the American people are that stupid. I think they're a lot smarter than Romney and Ryan think they are. Why I am a Democrat. I was born in 1921, and the Democrats are responsible for the kind of life I have now. My parents were immigrants from what is now the Ukraine. My father came to his country first. He then saved enough to bring the rest of his family here. I was born in this country. During the Depression, my father had a small tailor shop in which he made ladies' coats on the Lower East Side. My mother and he worked from 9 a.m. to midnight every day except on the religious holidays and the Sabbath. The only other time they closed the store was to go to vote, which they considered a holy privilege. Nobody in the community had any money to buy new coats. There were just no jobs. We were all literally starving. One night, when I was about 8 years old, my mother sat us down at the dinner table, 5 of us, and said, "I have 1 roll and 1 scallion for dinner, and we are all going to have to share that." I lived in the back of the store. I ate my meals, I did my homework, and I fell asleep on the coat padding on the floor until my parents were finished with their work and took me to our apartment on the top floor of an old tenement house where the toilets were in the hall, cold and stinking. In 1932, FDR became president. The National Recovery Act, which was fought tooth and nail by the Republicans, was then enacted. They're still fighting it. Jobs came to the community. Libraries were built. The young men went off to the conservation camp to help cut trees, and they earned enough money to send home to their parents. The women began to discard their threadbare coats and bought new coats at my father's shop. My parents then were earning enough money to pay taxes. When the first canceled tax check came back to my father, he had it framed and he hung it in the front of the store for all to see. He was so proud that he was able to pay his taxes. It's a true story. People just don't really understand that. My parents never became rich, but with the help of the small Social Security checks that they got, which the Republicans fought tooth and nail and are still trying to get rid of today, they were able to have a comfortable old age. I married during World War II, and my husband went off to war into the Air Force in the China-Burma Indian Division. When the war was over, he came home to no job. There was a government program called 5220 Club, which veterans joined. It was an unemployment office. They could receive $20 a week for 52 weeks. Most were given jobs almost immediately. He was placed with the jewelry findings company where the government subsidized his salary. We were then able to have a family. We were able to get a mortgage for a home of our own at a rate that we could afford from Fannie Mae, which was then a government agency. My husband always wanted to be a lawyer, but was never able to afford to go to law school. All veterans were able to continue their education. When he graduated from law school, which he went to on the GI Bill of Rights, he practiced law and then became a judge in the Supreme Court of the state of New York, after first being a civil court judge and a surrogate of New York County. These are all the reasons I am a Democrat. There are many more reasons, but these are my personal ones. We cannot lift ourselves up by the bootstraps when we have no boots. We need a little help from the government. Of course, these programs are expensive, and there will always be some abuse of them. We cannot punish the many in need because some abuse. But these are rights that every hard-working citizen is entitled to. The hard work of the American people produces enough money to pay for them. The country is not a business. I would like everyone to know that. The country is not a business. It's not the same thing. You have to take care of your people. Profit is not the bottom line in the country. Bye. Okay, you can do whatever you want.